Hi, this is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. It's Friday. It's August 27th, and it's almost 7 o'clock Eastern Time. I took a little bit of extra time to look at the Hurricane Center update at 5 o'clock, get a couple of things together so we can do this update. It's going to be a long weekend, and folks, we have a serious situation unfolding for Louisiana. Hurricane Ida became a hurricane earlier this afternoon as it was approaching the island of Youth, south of Cuba. It's part of the Cuban islands. And it really didn't slow down from there when it was hitting land. It now has winds of 80 miles per hour, and it's going to be emerging off the western Cuban coast here in just an hour or two. And it's got some intensification, some rapid intensification it's going to go through. Look at this satellite image. This is from earlier today, and you can see the GOES satellite is picking up a lot of lightning and bubbling clouds. That means a lot of convection and a lot of intensification that was happening pretty rapidly. This was just before it was determined to be a hurricane. And I want to switch over now just to GeoCollaborate to show you what it looks like from the standpoint of the satellite picture, a little bit broader. This is from the GOES satellite, but you can see here comes the sunset across, it's called the terminator line. And I'll show you with my arrow, there's the basically nighttime coming around the sphere of the Earth. And you can see this circulation in the atmosphere. This is Hurricane Ida. And over here is Hurricane Nora that's going to be moving right up into the Gulf of California, just to the east of the Baja Peninsula. And that's going to be a Category 1 hurricane here shortly. But I want to show you a couple of things that are going on. Let me get a little bit closer, and I've enhanced the clouds too with Ida. Ida is currently over the western peninsula of Cuba, western island of Cuba. And I want to show you a couple of things too that happened during the day today. This is a tropical wave that moved across and kicked up quite a few showers and thunderstorms in New Orleans and southern Louisiana. It's still doing that. And that is not good. It's saturating the soils even more. Boy, southern Louisiana is up to 20 inches above rainfall, above their average rainfall for the year. And so not only is the soil saturated, but the root system in the trees, really, the roots have nothing to hold on to. So I really fear a bunch of trees are going to come down once Ida makes landfall, and it is currently forecast to make landfall in southern Louisiana. I do want to dive down a little bit closer into Ida here because I made a radar image, and I want to show you what that looks like. First of all, I'll go a little bit tighter in this satellite picture, and you can see the circulation of Ida. This red is convection. You can see that really popping up over the land. Some of that is induced by mountains because the winds are hitting the mountains and going up, so it causes thunderstorms here. But I want to take you down into the Cuban radar, and this is what it looks like. You can see what's happening, and you can see an eye was forming right as it was making landfall. That was confirmed by Hurricane Hunter aircraft, and so this is really getting to be quite impressive from a satellite and radar perspective. It's not impressive from a hurricane intensity perspective. I mentioned also the tropical wave that was moving down through the southern part of the Louisiana, and you can see these showers and storms that they had during the day today, and they're starting to diminish a little bit as the sun starts to go down. But the bad news is that it's just more and more rain that's really saturating that soil. So let's go back here to GeoCollaborate, and I want to show you what's going on. I'll move this up a little bit further and get in a little bit closer. This is the tropical storm force wind radius, and you can see that not only is it filling out, it's becoming more even on all quadrants of the hurricane. And so that means as soon as it emerges from the northern coast of Cuba, it's going to have a lot of organization, and it's going to have a lot of warm sea surface temperatures. Matter of fact, look at this. The Hurricane Center is forecasting by 2 o'clock in the morning for it to have 90 to 95 mile per hour winds and be a Category 2 hurricane, and then rapidly intensify to a Category 3 hurricane by 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and continue on that rapid intensification path to be a Category 4 hurricane with about 125 mile per hour winds by Sunday morning. So it looks like Ida is on a pathway for rapid intensification through the entire path through the Gulf of Mexico on its way to make landfall in southern Louisiana. And right before official landfall is forecast, which is 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon, we have a storm, folks, that has 140 mile per hour winds. And some of the models are indicating even further strengthening than that. The official forecast has Ida coming ashore right here in southern Louisiana with a wind field that's going to engulf New Orleans with at least tropical storm force winds. Once these hurricane force winds develop, we'll have another area within that color that'll show hurricane force winds. And that means that a lot of water is going to be pushed in to many areas from storm surge. And I have actually turned on a couple of things in the map here. I'm going to first turn off the hurricane path, so you can see the watches, warnings, and advisories that are in effect. These are hurricane warnings in effect for the south coast of Louisiana, including Lake Pontchartrain. And we also have here, these purple ones are tropical storm warnings that are in effect across the coastline of Mississippi. And then there's also tropical storm watches for the coastline of Alabama. So as this storm intensifies, the National Hurricane Center expects the wind field to expand. And we're going to have to watch that very closely, because these tropical storm warnings that are in effect along the Mississippi coastline also come with storm surge warnings as well throughout southern parts of Louisiana here. Storm surges of 7 to 11 feet are now forecast in parts of Louisiana and also western Mississippi. We're going to be bringing you that information a little bit more detail later on tonight. And also, I'm going to turn off these watches, warnings, and advisories here so you can see what it looks like from a storm surge perspective. And I'm going to zoom in here because this is a storm surge inundation map that's forecast from the National Hurricane Center. You see that it's black over New Orleans. That's because this is the levee structure. There are also levees built right down here, down the Mississippi. And there's a chance that we could have some issues with these levees as the storm surge comes in. There's also a levee here, and there are levees over here near Morgan City, around St. Mary's and Morgan City. And elsewhere, we're seeing some serious inundation forecast by the National Hurricane Center because of the path that this storm is expected to take. I want to display as well a 3-day rainfall total map. This is what has occurred already. So we're talking about rainfall totals down here in the 2 to 3 inch range just south and around New Orleans. I'm going to turn that off and turn on the day 1 through 7 quantitative precipitation forecast for Louisiana. And I've varied the I'll back out a little bit. I've turned the transparency down a little bit so you can see this path here because there are a number of concerning things. Not only is there from 5 to 15 inches of rain forecast for southern Louisiana, including the New Orleans area, but you can see the path of the storm to the right of the center takes some pretty big quantitative precipitation forecasts, some rainfall forecasts down here. And I'm going to try to click here into some closer in areas. But we have a rainfall total of between 1 and 4 inches of rain forecast for western Tennessee. And we all know about the devastating floods that Waverly, Tennessee has endured last weekend with 20 people passing away because of those floods. There's going to be another major flood possibility in Waverly, Tennessee, in this area in central Tennessee because of rainfall from Hurricane Ida. That won't come until a little bit later, probably until Monday, Tuesday timeframe. But folks, we have a major, major storm headed for Louisiana. I'm going to turn back on the hurricane track and where that is forecast to move. And I'll turn off the hurricane quantitative precipitation forecast from the Weather Prediction Center. Because we have a storm that's, if it makes landfall in this condition of a Category 4, folks, this could be approaching Hurricane Katrina status. Now, when Katrina made landfall, it was just to the east of New Orleans. This one is moving to the west of New Orleans, at least for the latest forecast. We're going to be monitoring this very closely. The track could shift slightly, but with our Category 4, New Orleans is going to be on the bad side, the windy side, the rainy side, the side that has tornadoes as it comes ashore. And so as we watch this happen and forecast this to happen, we're going to have some major storm surge, not only coming in to the southern part, like Plaquemines Parish, areas of Morgan City, Houma, but we're also going to see a lot of wind coming into Lake Pontchartrain and forcing tidal surges on the backside of New Orleans. The mayor of New Orleans and the governor has issued mandatory evacuations for those people living outside of the levee system in New Orleans, and voluntary evacuations for people living within the levee system within New Orleans. Keep in mind that the levees have pumps in them. There are about 96, 97, 98 pumps within the New Orleans area, and all but 2 of them are operating flawlessly. Those pumps are designed to pump out rainfall of 1/2 inch per hour. But it looks like we have forecasts of 10 to 15 inches of rain on top of what has already fallen. And so those pumps are going to have a difficult time keeping up with that rainfall. The only thing we can hope is that the storm speeds up. Right now, it's forecast to slow down as it makes landfall and then continue to the north on Monday at 2 p.m., still with quite a bit of rainfall associated with it. So anyone in the transportation, food, fuel, medical supplies, utilities, communications areas, you're going to get hit hard in southern Louisiana. We're going to be updating this video during the course of the storm, and we're going to be bringing you updates when things go downhill on Sunday. Certainly with the next update of the Hurricane Center is going to be at 11 p.m. tonight. We'll do another update after that one, just letting you know how the storm is on track for intensification. Hurricane Center is starting to get a little bit more aggressive with their forecast now, forecasting Ida to make landfall in southern Louisiana as a Category 4 storm to the west of New Orleans, and that may not bode well for New Orleans. It's a serious situation, and one in which people who live there need to take seriously and evacuate if you can. Again, it's voluntary evacuations for New Orleans. We'll keep you posted. Once again, Ida is strengthening and strengthening rapidly. It's over the western part of the Cuban island right now, and is forecast to emerge as a Category 1 and rapidly intensify by midnight to 2 a.m. to a Category 2 hurricane. I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and the Sensitive Information Sharing Environment. This has been an update for the Fleet Response Working Group. Next update will be just after 11 o'clock tonight. Thanks for watching.